Kurdish Peshmerga are sending reinforcements to the front line north of Kirkuk, where they're battling Iraqi forces. A bridge was blown up near the town of Altyn Kupri. The Iraqi forces want to push the Peshmerga further towards Erbil, the Kurdish regional capital. But Iraqi state television says Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi's ordered his troops not to enter Erbil's city limits. The Kurds took up new positions on the road between Erbil and Kirkuk on Thursday, 3 days after they pulled out of the city. They also withdrew from several other towns and oil fields as the Iraqi army and Shia militia advanced. Kurdish authorities estimate at least 100,000 people have fled since the operation began. Abadi has told his forces they must protect civilians and their property. And during Friday prayers, Iraq's top Shia cleric, Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, reminded the Iraqi government of that duty. Now, the fighting has centred around Altyn Kupri, as we mentioned, about 40 kilometres northwest of Kirkuk. Stephanie Decker is on the Erbil-Kirkuk highway, a few kilometres from the front line. And of course, it's been a very fluid situation in the past couple of hours, Stephanie. So just bring us up to speed on what you know.
Well, the latest information we have is that the fighting has stopped. That town you mentioned, the area Altyn Kupri, is under the control of the Iraqi forces. Earlier today, that was under control of the Kurdish Peshmerga. Peshmerga now holding a position around 1 kilometre away. But the fighting is not happening at the moment. What we understand, it is quiet. Now, what we have seen along the day, and particularly in the last 2 hours or so, heavy reinforcement of Peshmerga fighters. There was a huge convoy that streamed past us. Peshmerga in high spirits, also in the back of their trucks, mattresses and blankets, an indication that they are heading there for the long haul to defend these lines. One commander, we stopped the convoy and managed to speak to him, said that they were going to defend Erbil, that they didn't trust Hashd al-Shabi. These are the Shia militias that are fighting alongside the Iraqi army. And also in particular, he said, you know, it was the irony of how the whole world was complimenting the Peshmerga as they were fighting ISIS, pushing ISIL out of those areas in the last couple of years. And he says now we're being attacked and it seems that the world has turned their backs on us. So there is a real feeling of sort of a disillusionment with the international community that this has basically been handed to them. They have no support to be able to hold their positions, and this is why many people will tell you, one Peshmerga soldier yesterday saying, well, we would have fought to defend Kirkuk, we would have done that, but we have no support. We don't have Turkey, we don't have anyone anywhere, we've been left totally on our own.
And Stephanie, this has been two very different trains of thought. You have the Peshmerga and the Kurds obviously assuming that the Iraqi army want to either invade or infiltrate their area. And we had an Iraqi senior diplomat here in Al Jazeera talking to me on the show a few days ago saying that there will be no infiltration of the autonomous area and that Iraq is one unified country and that's the way we want to keep it. Two very different trains of thought.
Yes, well, the stress on the Iraq being a unified country comes from the Iraqi leaders, also is coming from the international community. What you're talking about of the Iraqi leadership stressing that the Iraqi forces should not enter Erbil, people don't really think that might happen. Of course, what we're talking about are disputed territories. The map of Iraq has changed, Sahel, over the last couple of years, particularly when it came to ISIL coming into these areas. You had the Iraqi army leaving positions. You had the Peshmerga coming in, fighting ISIL and staying in those areas. It's complicated, and disputed territories between Baghdad and the semi-autonomous Kurdish region has been going on since before that. That was supposed to have been resolved through the constitution. That has never happened. So you've always had this sort of unresolved issue between the two of who holds what territory. Well, now you have the case where both sides no longer need to point their guns at ISIL, and they're starting to resolve these issues. People have been saying this, Sahel, this is not surprising, that the real challenges could perhaps come after ISIL had been pushed out because of the territorial tensions and issues here, the ethnic and sectarian ones. So now what we're hearing from the Iraqi government is that the Iraqi forces will not move beyond what they're calling 2003 positions. And one of those positions, I'm being told, is literally 1 or 2 kilometers down this road. So perhaps that's what this is about. Again, very difficult to know what the plans are, but at the moment, just to wrap up briefly, the fighting has stopped.
Well, for the moment, of course, we will continue to monitor the situation with you, Steph, there in northern Iraq.